Today we're going to be working on a 2013 Chrysler Town Country. As you can see here, we do have an ABS and a traction control light on up there. So we'll hook it up to our scanner here and see what it's telling us. It looks like our scanner is telling us that we have a left front speed sensor out of range up there. So we'll go ahead and replace this. If you don't have one of these scanners, you can always go to your local auto parts store and they'll scan this for free to tell you which one of these you got to replace. To get started here, we'll disconnect the negative terminal on the battery here. That's just going to be a 10 mil. Next, set your emergency brake and put some wheel chocks on the tires, and then we'll jack up the front. If you're not familiar with how to jack up some of these modern vehicles, there's a pinch weld under there. I have a pinch weld adapter over there. Check out the other video. I talk about that in more detail. But we'll jack the vehicle up, put a jack stand under there, then we'll remove the wheel, and it's just going to be a 19 mil. If you don't have an impact, just make sure you loosen up these lug nuts before you raise it off the ground. We actually had to do that same thing on this one because these were way over tightened from the previous mechanical worked on here. But we'll go ahead and just remove them the rest of the way. And remove the tire. In order to replace our sensor, it is tucked behind our caliper and our rotor here and that dust shield. So we'll start by first removing the caliper bracket, and it's just going to be 221 mil. Then we'll remove both of the bolts. And then we'll gently slide this off, and then we'll take a brake caliper hanger, we'll hang this out of the way. You just don't want to put an unnecessary bind on this hose here. And we'll remove the rotor. Sometimes you get lucky and they come off. Most of the time it's going to be stuck on here. So what you can do is, obviously if you're replacing this, you can get aggressive and just bang this off. But if you're going to try to reuse these rotors, you want to just make sure you focus here, and eventually you will get it pop loose. After about a minute or two, this one does not seem like it wants to come off of here, so we're going to go to plan B. What you can do is take a bolt, and you're going to have a nut threaded on the end, and back there on the spindle where our caliper bracket gets attached, there's a hole. We'll thread this in there, we'll draw this up on the spindle, then we'll use this to ratchet this bolt in, and it'll push this rotor off the hub. So after you ratchet that down a few times, we're now going to loosen this back up. We're going to turn our rotor, and we're going to do the same thing at another spot so we can get even pressure on this rotor to help break it loose. Now if you're working on the rear, it's a lot easier because you can just rotate that if you have a front wheel drive vehicle. On this one, since it's in front wheel drive, we're going to have to make sure we put this thing in neutral. Just make sure you have your emergency brake set as well before you do that, so then we can rotate this rotor. Alright, so there we finally broke it loose, so we'll remove the rotor. Then we're going to remove the dust shield. You just got 3 10 mil bolts. Now we have access to our sensor, so the first thing we need to do is we need to clean out this hole in here, and this is just going to be a 5 mil hex key that'll go in here. But you want to make sure you get all of that corrosion out of there, either with a pick or a wire brush. because if you don't, you risk putting the wrong size in there and stripping this thing out. So we're thoroughly going to clean this off. Then we're going to apply some PV Blaster on the back here, and we'll gently remove that, and then we'll twist this off. And if your 5mm does not fit in there, like this one doesn't want to, you need to make sure you keep cleaning that out so we can get all that corrosion out of there, so we can make sure we're putting the right size in here. And I just have a smaller number 4 here, and I'm going in there and I'm using this to kind of help break some of that material loose. Sometimes it helps to use a hammer once you get it cleaned off enough to get it in all the way there. And then we should be able to gently remove this. And to remove this sensor, we need to be very careful that we don't crack the end of this. So what I typically do is I'll take a flathead screwdriver back here to break it loose. Then you're going to gently twist it back and forth and slowly pull it out. Just don't get too aggressive with this, because a lot of times these will break because it's just plastic. And sometimes it helps to get a needle nose pliers in there as well. Alright, so that finally popped out. What you're fighting in there is just this little O-ring here and with all that corrosion. So once you finally get that out, then we'll go ahead and we'll start removing the rest of the sensor. Then remove the wiring harness out of those 2 clips. Then remove these 2 here from the strut. And also remove this one back here. Then the last thing on the removal, you're going to just have 2 push pins holding our sensor in. So sometimes you can take a needle nose and get behind here if you don't have one of the trim tools. So just go back here like this and gently pry it out. And you can also use a screwdriver as well. So then once we get that disconnected, then you're going to release this red clip. You're just going to push it down, then you can push this in. Alright, so once you get that snapped out, then push that part in, then you should be able to remove the sensor. So now that we got the old one out, we'll just compare it to our new one and make sure everything lines up, specifically the plugs. That's typically what gets wrong on some of these, is at the wrong style. So this one looks good. And also on this version here that I got, it's just the standard brand. It does come with a little bit of grease, and more importantly, it does come with a new one of those 5mm bolts down there. So we want to make sure we put that in there because it does have some thread locker on there. But if yours didn't come with one, make sure you thoroughly clean that old bolt up and put a little thread locker on there and put it back in. So once you get it threaded in there, just route it above that, because that's the way it was when we removed it. So we're going to push our plug back in until it gets firmly seated. Then after it's seated all the way in there, then don't forget to push that red clip in as well. And it should snap in just like that. Then reinsert both of those push pins until it snaps in place. It looks like our new one did also include this new bracket, so we'll zip this 10mm bolt off here and then we'll put our new one on there. If you didn't, just make sure we attach these into those slots there. And take your new one. Then reattach both of these, and you can put a little bit of grease on there as well to get those in there a little bit easier, but usually they just snap in just like that. Then reattach this wiring harness up here. And you need to make sure you get these fully seated in each one of these, because you do not want these to come in contact with any moving parts down here. Then the last thing down here, we need to make sure we thoroughly clean that hole off there because we want this O-ring on here to fully seat in there. Once you got that cleaned off, gently slide it in there. And again, you're going to have to probably rock it back and forth. And then in order to get it fully seated in there, once you feel that it fully seats in there, then tighten your bolt. Don't just tighten the bolt down because if it's not in there straight, you risk cracking that. And after you get that bottomed out in there, and just hand tighten our 5mm. And we'll get our ratchet and then we'll just gently tighten this up. You don't have to get this very tight. Just like that. Then reinstall your dust shield. Now we're ready to put the rotor on here. Before we do this, we're going to remove this corrosion on here with a wire brush, and we're going to put some anti-seize on here. And you don't got to get crazy with this. Just get a little light coverage around that entire lip there. Then reinstall your rotor, and this is a good time to be replacing your pads and rotors. Then we'll reattach our caliper bracket. Then you're going to hand thread these in here, then we'll tighten both of these bolts. Alright, so then once you get that tightened up, just verify everything looks good here. Put your wheel back on here, and when it gets to the ground, make sure you torque it to 100 foot-pounds, then you've completed your job here. So hopefully this helped you out. If it did, please give me the thumbs up. If you're interested in more content like this, please hit that subscribe. But again, I hope this helped you out, and thanks for watching.